Hey everyone, this is DayTraderRockStar, and this is the high probability watch list for the week of, the last day of September and the beginning of October, which we're going to call Stocktober, Rocktober. And what a great month September has been. I tell you the truth, really didn't take many losses in September. You can take a look at some of the closed out trades. This is not including the options, which a couple of them did expire. But other than that, the stocks have been, again, let's go back and look at that. That's pretty impressive right there. And we're going to go review a lot of these stocks today. I have a tremendous watch list for you this week. Tremendous. Packed full of education, setups, HPS setups, quality setups you've been seeing given this type of results. Now, I'm not a heavy hitter here. Most of these have been done with 100, 200 shares at most. 50 shares is usually what I start off with. But the risk reward and the level of these stocks, and the stock market hasn't been kind of shaky over the last couple of weeks, and you can see the results continue to come in green on the screen. So we're going to go over some of those stocks right now just to give you an idea of what I look for in a chart pattern and why we keep on finding the stocks that trade in the same type of setups. And I could, again, take a look right now on the chart we're looking in front of us, the S&P 500, and you can see we had last time we looked at this, and we gave an initial target of 1710, 1750, and this was really based off of this, this little pattern that was playing out. And once we turned back off of this, we came right down, underlying trend line. We could probably zoom this out. This goes all the way out here. You can see it started right here. We got oversold, and we had a very technical bounce, and we just got overbought. Now we're actually pulling back. So the thing is, you're just kind of turning up here, moving back down, just in a nice little rhythm. And now it's an interesting chart to look at, the weekly chart here. The weekly chart, we talked about the coil stochastic and how the strength of a coil stochastic indicator really shows a lot of strength in it. And you can see that we've been, kind of, coiled up here on the weekly. And now we just came back up on that last pullback. Whenever we see that underlying trend line, possible trend line here, you got to realize that's probably going to turn up and just hold true to that trend. And the same thing if you take a look at the monthly chart, which is even more interesting. We have a very bullish embedded monthly pattern. Now, this can't always continue to go up and up and up, but as you can see, when the market gets embedded like this, starts to chop up here at this top, all you have is strength here. And this has just started out. We don't know how far, if this. And again, this is a monthly chart. These are monthly candles, so we could, actually see a little bit further move. And I'm expecting this. But I have to go out and just put out this warning that this week coming up is going to be full of news and events. We have the debt ceiling, votes that are going on. We also have some breaking news in Italy tonight. If you haven't followed that, you probably haven't. But apparently the government is kind of just basically disbanding and resigning. And they're going to have to do, there's going to be a lot of talk about this probably come Monday. I don't know if this is going to have a big effect on the market or not. But this is pretty big headlines coming out of Europe today, which is Saturday night. Again, you could probably follow that up by doing some search on your own. Just look at the Italy's government, what's going on right now. The resignations of a lot of people. So again, everything looking good. We have the potential of big news hitting the market next week, either good news or bad news, and that's the only thing that really hurts a perfect setup like this. The market has been, just acting really well. And right now we have on the daily, we have this negative bias on the daily, so there's definitely could see some more downside. We have an underlying trend line back here. There is an area to move down. The 60-minute chart is already embedded, but you can see because it was embedded, we have this kind of little downward bias here. These downward channels typically make the bigger moves to the upside, but that's really, again, when you start to get embedded like this, it's really harder to find out where the top or bottom is. And you really have to take that after the fact. Be it a gap down or a gap up, and when this thing starts to spike up, it's very hard to, once you get the timing down. That's why I like the dual stochastics with the daily 60 come into play, and then you really have a nice setup. But again, that's the weekly right there. The 60-minute chart, kind of embedded. The daily pushing down. Overall, The bias is negative, and we've been seeing that pullback. Now, there's a couple of interesting things for this week. The stocks I want to show you in a watch list, there's some really good quality names, and I have two pages here, and it's you know what? I get comfortable if I were you. Get your piece of paper out, your pencil out, whatever you're going to write down, because I'm going to give you a lot of interesting setups, and then we're going to talk about really the top 10 setups for the week. So I'm going to give you a lot of information tonight. Let's start off with some of the trades we took last week and see how they're continuing to do. MSG and why we got into these and why you're going to see this. This was really the chart bounty stock of the last 2 weeks. And what I mean is I've been dying to find these coil stochastic setups because they've been just key. So MSG, beautiful trade on this. We got in as this started coiling up, the lower channel line, the lower stochastic bounce, a recognizable channel. A channel within the channel gives us a nice profit. It popped up here. Look at that. Look at how this thing moved. And this is the key. And this is where, this is the stocks I want to give you today. I want to give you these setups. I'm not going to give you this setup here because it's already made its move. So we're going to look at some really good setups now that are setting up. But this is, again, a great textbook trade. A textbook example of the stochastic coil stochastic channel breakout. That is the stock, DayTraderRockStar playbook play. You can find the video on that in the members forum. All right. Meaning you can see how to trade that and how do you find those. So again, other ones, ISRG. This was we took a trade on that. That was more of an intraday. A couple days we held on to that. It came out with news that Mako Surgical got taken out. So ISRG popped up about 11-12 points. We just took profits into that ISRG. Let me see. You're not really seeing much on the chart. It's interesting because we're embedded here, but that little spike up right here, we took profits into that, and it's come back since. I'm starting to watch it again, but that was a good trade. And then again, Apple, AAPL. Again, we take a look at the 60-minute chart. That's the time frame we've been using. And I think the Apple setup was also just a nice level. And this Apple, I did hold this as it did drop down. I ended up holding it about 19 days. So it was really a buy on weakness here and bought into it. And then it popped. Of course, the iPhone news came out and it's popped up there. So it's actually starting to look good. And we're going to talk more about that in a second. PBR was a great setup. Now PBR, I like this breakout. We caught this breakout right up against the top of the downward trend line was the exit. And look at the pullback off of that. This had so many great setups. Really identified it here on the pullback of this channel, 1, 2, 3 channel. Coming down to support lines. Everything here was really, really nice. And again, the oversold stochastic. Look how it just moved right up to X marks the spot, a major trend line, downward trend line, and a 1, 2, 3 pattern trend line going up. X marks the spot type of trade, overbought. Key setup on the short side. Now it's actually pulling back down, and this is actually going to be becoming a nice little buy signal next week at one point. I'll be watching this one for a move back up and possibly a break out of this downward channel, which has been extended for multiple years. But this actually looks pretty good. Not in it right now, but it was a good position. Going to just go through these real fast. The ISCA, another coil stochastic setup, just a basic coiled lower highs here. Recognizing that channel, understanding that if you get that lower channel, the lower stochastic, you have a better chance of that major move up, and boom, you could see that happened. That happened nice. SNY here, that was like a 2-day hold, and that's really popped up nice. Basically, you're seeing the same type of setups. We want to have what I call the wind at your back. You want to have the stochastics rotating back up for a long, and the stochastics rotating back down for a short. And on the shorter time frames, especially, the 60-minute, 5-minute setup for intraday setups. Then you could just kind of manage it with the 60-minute chart. You get an overview of the market with the daily and the 60 combination. So all these things that you want to use together. Costco, again, these are all stocks that we've recently taken in this market, and most of them were the lower stochastic setups. I'm just going through them myself real fast. Panera. CBS is actually still, I got back into the CBS after it was a nice setup on the Mayweather fight. Remember that setup where we took Showtime owned by CBS, Showtime, doing the pay-per-view event, and we brought that into Friday, sold it Monday, and for a nice little profit. Now it's pulled back. We have a nice little candlestick setting up from Friday. It is negative on the daily, but a very good textbook flag and not a bad candlestick here. So I think there's a good probability that we start to get that move out of this flag and we continue to move higher. This is one of the best flags I've seen in the market. All right. So this is really a key stock going into next week, and it will be found probably, it will be found on the HPS watch list. So there's a freebie for those out there. And the list goes on and on. I mean, today, over the last week, also mentioned that we had the chart bounty was announced, and we got so many great stocks that were submitted for chart bounty. McCormick was one of them last week, profit taken, and this is again a couple weeks ago. Not now where it gapped down here, but basically right off of this level here. And you can see we did get a nice pop. We took profits. The daily oversold, the daily overbought really gave us a nice move. We haven't been in it since. And whenever you do get a setup like this, and there is some news, I'd rather let things play out a bit, start to pattern out a bit. But, just to give you an example of some of those setups. AT&T and Verizon, they were very good stocks. And looking at these this week, I want to be charting these a little bit later for you. And I have so many more, but these are the kind of setups we're going to be looking for. These are the kind of setups you're going to see right now. Couple announcements. Andy from Finland will be guest trader again next week. He kicked ass. He honestly did good. I was like, wow, people have got to be making money here. Anyway, I'm happy to have him back. Congratulations, Andy, doing so good. He's trading the ES futures. If you haven't checked him out, check him out. He's rocking it and posting those trades live in the box. I think he got 20 points on Friday. Friday he got 20 points. And then, you don't even want to talk about how many shares, how many contracts he's trading. And what else? Announced the Vegas trip. The Vegas trip coming up November 20th. I think we're going to be in Vegas November 20th to the 24th. That's for the Traders Expo, the Money Show Traders Expo. It's going to be held at Caesars Palace, Las Vegas. We do it every year. We do one in New York in February. We do one in Vegas in November. Kind of locked it in. I'll be there. And so put that on your calendars. Hope to see you out there. It's always a fun time. We try to have a couple get-togethers with the members. We do meet and greets usually at a place, Jimmy Buffett's, Margaritaville, or something like that. And we have a great time for a few days. And it's a great, it's a show. It's a trading show. It's not just all fun. There's a lot of education going on there too. And of course, that's why I'm out there for research. Research. All right, so that's another announcement. Let's see what else. Again, just the news going out for next week. The debt ceiling news, the Italy news. There's some, again, in 2 weeks we're going to start earnings season, but next week is going to be shaky with all this news. Now take that into consideration when you do see these setups. I'm going to give you some great setups right now. And some of them, if the market, for whatever reason, they say, all right, this is, the talks have broke down, we crashed through the ceiling, or whatever is going to come out, but it shocks the market, the setups will tend to fail. It is. The market gets the fear in it, things break down, they usually come back, but at that point, it's sometimes you don't worry about that. You're worried about what your stock's doing right away. So just be extra cautious. Extra cautious this next week. So let's start off with a couple here, and I'm going to get right to that right now. So for those out there, the video will stop here. The video will continue for members, and we'll stop for all the others.